Yeah, Dana, a lot of excitement here at Carolina Haven tonight. A lot of people still lingering to see the final results. Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio have been going neck and neck all night. Less than a half hour ago, this place was packed with Rubio supporters. The Florida senator was joined on stage by Governor Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, and Trey Gowdy, all who endorsed Rubio earlier this week. Now, this is a huge boost for Rubio after coming in 5th in New Hampshire last week, but Rubio says he's ready to fight for the next American century. And we talked to a lot of supporters who say they're ready to make sure that Rubio carries this momentum into Nevada. Live in Columbia, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. If the Senate gives the green light to the House budget plan, the dollars will go into effect when the next fiscal year begins in July. But there won't be a decision made anytime soon. Lawmakers are now in furlough until April. The Senate gets back to work on April 5th, and the House will be back in session the following week. In the studio, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. Those losses are only some of the state's damages. Farmers lost nearly $375 million in crops from the flooding. And that's a big hit to an industry that has an estimated $41 billion impact on the state each year. In the letter Rick Reams sent to the county, he noted he's willing to work with council to bring the penny tax program into compliance with state laws. Council has called a special meeting about the tax program. It's set for Friday afternoon. In the studio, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. Shelli. Janet, it's been a long day for South Carolina House lawmakers. They started their session at 9 o'clock this morning and have been going for more than 12 hours.
Shelli Adamczyk just getting back from that workshop. She's live in the studio now with more. Shelli.
Sheriff Lee Foster opened this particular class to the public. He wants parents to know sexting, social media, and cell phone abuse is a trend they see far too often in Newberry County. Now tonight, Sheriff Lee Foster pointed out something that many people didn't realize. If a juvenile is caught sending nude photos to someone, it's considered child pornography. If they are charged, that young person would have to register as a sex offender. That's why Foster encourages parents to find a balance between privacy and protecting their children. Live in the studio, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. Sumter County Sheriff's Department calls it Operation Smackdown. For the past 5 months, deputies have been targeting illegal drugs and prostitution in that community. People charged with drug trafficking face up to 25 years in prison if convicted. Sheriff Anthony Dennis says they will continue to conduct more sting operations in Sumter County. Senator Creighton Coleman telling me today he's somewhat confused by Reeves calling for his resignation, adding that he feels comfortable in his role as senator and with the community. Reeves is running against Coleman, Mike Fanning, and Republican Mark Palmer. In the studio, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News.
The corner of Calhoun and Meeting Street, and as you can see behind me, we're told that members of the church are now being led into TD Arena here in Charleston. Behind them, you can also see a long line of people. Thousands of people are lined up to get ready to go into the church to pay their respects to Senator Pinckney. All right, I'm here with Coach Rodney Summers now. Obviously, some big misplays defensively in this first half. What are you guys going to do when you come out in the second to make sure that those defensive gaps are closed? Britt Friendly, that's right. I'm here at AC Flora High School, just one of the 33 shelters throughout the state that are taking in people, providing resources for them after this historic flooding. Now, prostitution continues to happen here in the Midlands and around the world. Very often, it's part of a much larger criminal operation. Investigators say men and women are soliciting sex anywhere from Backpage to Craigslist to Twitter. I went along with Richland County deputies on a sting operation targeting the Johns.
More than 5,000 Mustangs have been adopted through those extreme makeover events. Robin and Reagan say they plan to do more training in the future. You can find more about the twins on our website at WACH.com. Wednesday, Attorney General Alan Wilson said the mandate is not, quote, one size fits all. Both Wilson and the governor say they trust the state's individual school districts to handle the transgender issue. But 2 state lawmakers took things a step further Wednesday. Advocates from the task force report there were more than 150 victims reported in 2015. Now they say they're ready to do whatever it takes to reduce that number. During October's flooding, Harvest Hope served more than 2.2 million meals to flood victims. Now CEO Denise Holland says especially going into the holiday season, that need is only going to increase. Right now, the Department of Juvenile Justice serves 16,000 young people. 9 years ago, that number was more than 26,000. However, according to state lawmakers, the agency is still spending the same amount of money now that it was back then. But the debate continues here at the State House. Last year, House lawmakers passed a roads bill, but now with lawmakers back in session, the debate continues into the Senate, with key components looking into a gas tax or Department of Transportation reform. But both sides of the aisle agree there needs to be some compromise. Currently, more than 63,000 people have contacted FEMA for assistance or information. Now, FEMA officials say more than $45 million has been granted, but they're still encouraging people to register for assistance. All right, guys, as of right now, it looks like Jackson has an ankle injury. Now, they did put ice on it, but we'll see as far as if he'll go back into the game or not. But he does have ice, and he was kind of struggling to put pressure on it as of right now. And as far as you had mentioned the condition today is very wet and slippery, what are you going to do to make sure those offensive plays are executed as well?
Well, we got to get out of it, and we're going to try to find a way to do it here in the second half.
All right, good luck, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Shelli.
Yesterday was an emotional day as a jury saw graphic images of 3-year-old Gabriel's autopsy. Today was a much different story as a jury delivered their verdict to his mother, Thea McCardle. The jury will hear from the defense side Friday morning. We're told there is a chance McCardle could testify in her own defense. In Newberry, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. Lawmakers will need a 2/3 vote in both the House and the Senate to override Haley's veto. Senator Scott thinks the votes are there to keep the aid package alive. In the studio, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. The Forest Acres officer involved in Thursday's shooting is on paid administrative leave while SLED investigates. In the studio, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News. The family of Walter Scott stood by Haley showing their support for the bill, but are still asking for justice. Hours after 9 people were shot to death in a Charleston church prayer service.
Just pray for all the families that lost a loved one last night.
Hundreds of people gathered nearly a mile away to mourn their loss.
If our community voice, if it's loud enough and if it's expansive enough, then even these type of situations will be minimized because you have a community that reaches out and that cares and shows love for one another.
The hot temperatures didn't keep people from filling Morris Brown AME Church Thursday. The crowds were so large, some were turned away. A diverse group filled the streets around the church, singing songs and saying prayers.
It's horrible to believe that it has to take something awful like this to happen to bring us together as a community, but it's just amazing. I mean, the whole town's here.
Let's continue on living as a community as one. Doesn't matter what color or nationality you are. We should all continue on living together as one, as God's children, because we're all God's children no matter what color our skin is. We all bleed the same color.
United we stand, divided we fall. We stand together under liberty and justice for all. We prevail over everything.
Inspiring words as the city of Charleston, a state, and the entire nation grieves the loss of 9 lives taken by a chilling act of violence. In Charleston, Shelli Adamczyk, Watch Fox News.